Politico out with a great report about the systemic corruption continued by Donald Trump. Now, look, I know he promised to drain the swamp and not continue with the cronyism in Washington, but as I'm going to explain to you, he is, instead of getting rid of that swamp, he's actually rewarding large donors with jobs and access to his administration. So let me go into the story here. Now, the analysis starts out by pointing out that more than a third of the almost 200 people who have met with President-elect Donald Trump since his election last month, including those interviewing for administration jobs, ended up giving large amounts of money to support his campaign and other Republicans this election cycle. Now, together, the report notes, the 73 donors contributed $1.7 million to Trump and groups supporting him, and $57.3 million to the rest of the party, averaging at about more than $800,000 per donor. Now, again, if you're against the big money in politics, these numbers should be like, I don't like this. I don't like this because, Donald Trump's meeting with these people after they give him tons of money. Now, you might also be asking, okay, so look, they gave this money, so what are they getting in return? Well, this is according to the data. Now, donors represent 39% of the 119 people Trump reportedly considered for high-level government posts, and 38% of those he eventually picked. Now, already, you're starting to see the levels of systemic corruption. Now, this, for example, is what we're trying to stop in Washington. And this is what, of course, I rightly criticize Democrats for doing, and for what I believe that Hillary Clinton was also going to do when she got into office. So either way, if you start picking insiders, you start picking people who donate large sums of money to your political campaign, well, I'm going to have a problem with it. I'm going to point it out. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to hold these people accountable. In fact, this does relate to Clinton, which again, I rightly went after because sometimes donors to the Clinton Foundation, her charity, would end up getting special access and meetings to Clinton. That's, of course, what we call pay to play. Now, I also remember Donald Trump going after her for pay to play. And now he's doing essentially the same thing. Again, this is part of the systemic corruption that has always existed. However, in classic Trumpian fashion, he is now taking an already corrupt system, looking at it and saying, oh, you call that corrupt? No, I can go more corrupt. Challenge accepted. Let me give you an example. Now, this is according to a campaign finance expert quoted in this piece. He said the extent to which donors are stalking Trump's administration is unparalleled in modern presidential history, due in part, of course, to the Supreme Court decisions that loosened restrictions on campaign contributions. Now, this is Trevor Potter, who's an election lawyer who advised John McCain's 2000 and 2008 presidential campaigns, and he also founded the Campaign Legal Center. He says that the people who are counseling the president-elect are the donor class, who, as Trump told us, give because they want something in return. Those are his words. You will not get the policies his voters were hoping for. Now, the risk is, he says, is disillusioned by the voters who voted for change and are going to end up with a plutocracy. So already he points out that, hey, man, if you keep picking these people, Donald Trump, and putting them in your cabinet, these people who've given you lots of money in campaign bribes, and you reward them with high-level positions or positions of power, well, that looks bad. That looks bad not only to progressives, not only to people who care about campaign finance, that also looks bad to the people who voted for you. Yeah, for sure. And look, again, that's what we've been warning people against, okay? Look, when it comes to Donald Trump, you can't trust him, okay? He's got a history of using government to his advantage in order to make money. He also has a history of lying, selling snake oil, but it's not just him. He's only a symptom of the problem. But I want to give you a couple of examples of Trump lying during the primaries about corruption. Now, in the piece, he said Trump called Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio's puppets for accepting big money. He also attacked Hillary Clinton for meeting with donors to the Clinton Foundation when she was Secretary of State. I also attacked Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio for accepting big money, taking these big money bribes, and going after Hillary Clinton for what she was doing with the Clinton Foundation. And also, I gave Donald Trump credit for pointing that out. Now, he said, quote, by self-funding my campaign, I am not controlled by my donors, special interests, or lobbyists. Trump said in a Facebook post in September 2015, I'm only working for the people of the United States. And at the 2015 Iowa State Fair, Donald Trump said he was rejecting large contributions because he knew that they were coming with strings attached. He said, quote, I am turning down so much money, but if someone put it up, I'd feel obligated because I'm a loyal person. So that's actually a little bit of truth coming from Donald Trump, because they ended up putting up the money. In fact, Donald Trump has filled his cabinet with 6 of his top donors. Now, the biggest donor who's met with Trump is a man named Todd Ricketts. Now, Ricketts is among the Republican Party's top donors, giving Republicans more than $15.7 million for 2016 and more than $26 million in previous cycles. The Ricketts family also organized a super PAC called Future 45 that became the largest unlimited money group supporting Donald Trump. Todd Ricketts himself had personally donated $63,835 to Republicans. Here we go. So you've got Ricketts. Now onto somebody who I have a little bit of familiarity with, who I've also covered. And that is Trump's choice for Department of Education, woman known as Betsy DeVos. Now, the DeVos family, very big here in Michigan. Now, DeVos and her family spent $10.4 million on just this election cycle, including $445,000 to Trump's joint fundraising committee, known as the Trump Victory Fund, and one of the super PACs that are supporting him. She and her husband, Dick DeVos, have contributed to the campaign of 17 different senators who will vote on whether to confirm her. Now, again, Betsy DeVos, she is a huge proponent of destroying the education system. So she's she's going to lead the Department of Education. She doesn't believe in public education. She's actually a fundamentalist who believes in religious charter schools, taking public money and funneling them into private schools that can teach creationism, religion, whatever, and don't actually have to teach facts. So there you go. And she shovels a bunch of money into Trump, and look at that, she gets rewarded. Crony capitalism? Yeah. I've got more examples. Linda McMahon. Now, Linda McMahon is a wrestling magnate whom Trump named to helm the Small Business Administration. Now, she ended up giving $6 million to a pro-Trump super PAC. Now, she and her husband, Vince McMahon, are also the largest donors to the Trump Foundation. Now, again, so something you might not have known about me, I used to watch wrestling. So I remember back in the days with McMahon being the bad guy and leading the corporation. Well, this is the corporation. These guys, Vince and Linda McMahon, this family is funding Donald Trump and, of course, getting things in return. So there you have it. Now, you also have Labor Secretary Andy Pudster. Now, Pudster, of course, is CEO of the parent companies of Carl's Jr. and Hardee's fast food chains. He's also very, very anti-union, very anti-labor, who's going to be in charge of the Labor Department. So he's going to be the Labor Secretary. Great. Now, he ended up giving, and his wife, $160,000 to Donald Trump, to Trump Victory, and more than $600,000 to other Republicans in this election cycle. And, of course, you also have, famously, Trump's pick for Treasury Secretary, investor Steven Mnuchin, who personally gave $425,000, but was very responsible for almost everything Donald Trump raised as his campaign finance chairman. So he raises a bunch of money for Donald Trump's campaign and then personally gives a lot of money. And of course, suddenly, hey, now he gets picked for Treasury Secretary. It's all about what I can do for you, what you can do for me, and what I can do for you. You help me out, I give you a powerful cabinet position. Isn't that the same thing that we were going after Hillary Clinton for? And of course, beyond just the donors joining Trump's campaign, two of his biggest benefactors actually wield a lot of influence over the transition team than any other individual donors in history. And here I'm talking about the Mercer family. Now, this is Rebecca Mercer, who with her father, hedge fund billionaire Robert Mercer, spent more than $22 million backing Republicans this past cycle. Now, Rebecca Mercer and Robert Mercer are very close to former Breitbart CEO Stephen Bannon, who is now Donald Trump's White House chief strategist. And of course, they're also close with Kellyanne Conway. Now, Kellyanne Conway, Robert Mercer, and Rebecca Mercer, they've taken crucial roles in picking cabinet nominees. And of course, when it comes to the money, Robert Mercer gave $2 million to a Donald Trump super PAC. So look, basically the Mercers, they give money to Donald Trump, and Trump essentially does whatever the Mercers want. For example, the Mercers did not like Corey Lewandowski. Later on, Corey Lewandowski gets fired. Yeah, get rid of him. Get rid of him. Go, go, go. You got to get out of here. Now, what's funny is that they were still paying him while he was a CNN contributor. Now, the Mercers, they didn't just buy Donald Trump. They also bought Ted Cruz. Now, Ted Cruz ran against Donald Trump and was very, very strong against Donald Trump. Like, I got to stand up to this guy. I'm not going to go and I'm not going to back him. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to continue to fight Donald Trump. Then what happened? He became Trump's bitch. Why? Because one call from the Mercers, who fund Ted Cruz, it sets him straight. Remember that embarrassing picture of Ted Cruz in a Trump call center with the phone? Yeah. That's what happened to him. Essentially, the Mercers, they told him to cut it out and to bend over and kiss Donald Trump's ring. And that's exactly what he did. Because it's all about the money. These guys don't have any principles. These politicians, Donald Trump included, man, do not have any principles other than we've got to listen to what the donors tell us. And of course, along with the Mercers, you've got Peter Thiel. Now, Peter Thiel, of course, is a Silicon Valley venture capitalist, and he is also playing a very large role in the Trump transition team. Now, he spent about $3.3 million in the cycle, including $250,000 to Trump Victory and $1 million to a Trump-affiliated super PAC. Now, the donors continue that are continuing to have influence on the Trump campaign, or I'm sorry, on the Trump transition team. Now, Trump actually also met with former AIG CEO Hank Greenberg, who gave Republicans more than $10 million this cycle, including through his company CV Star and Company on December 12th, and with Cerberus Capital Management CEO Steve Feinberg, who gave $339,400 to Trump Victory and $1.47 million to another pro-Trump super PAC. Now, those are his donors. Those are the people that are actually going to control the Trump administration. Did you actually think he was going to drain the swamp? No, he's invited the swamp right in. Here you go. Here's a place for you to be swampy at. Okay? Here you go. As long as you keep giving me money. Because that's all that Donald Trump is really interested in doing, is sucking up all that money. And that's what he's done. And now he's repaying these people. Now, Politico has also compiled the list of meetings for the transition's daily conference calls and confirmed news reports. Now, the donor tallies include spouses, and in the case of Ricketts and DeVos, other close relatives who participate in the family's large political largesse. Totals include roughly $3.3 million that John Bolton, who was in the running for a State Department post, raised for Republicans through his PAC and his super PAC, and $100,000 that Ben Carson, Trump's pick for housing and urban development, transferred to Trump's campaign from his own former presidential fund. Now, this is a departure from before. Sure, there were donors that would get ambassadorships and stuff like that, some positions for giving lots of money to a campaign. However, Donald Trump, he's not hiding it anymore. He's making it completely transparent. The corruption's right in your face. It's on display. And look, he pointed out during the primaries, And now he's essentially said, yeah, well, that I was just pointing it out. It doesn't mean I was against it. In fact, donors, I'm open for business. Give me money. Give me money. In fact, as soon as the primaries were over, he began raising lots and lots of money from these Republican donors. And again, he is now rewarding them for their loyalty. Ugh. And see, this is the systemic corruption that we're talking about. Now, I'm pointing out Trump, but you guys got to remember, Donald Trump isn't the cause to this. What Donald Trump is that he's a symptom of a larger problem. In this case, corruption, money in politics, and neoliberalism. And look, if you want to fight money in politics, you got to go beyond Citizens United, okay? You've got to look at the Supreme Court decisions that allowed corporate money to be in politics in the first place. Because as soon as the courts decided that, hey, money is speech, corporations are people, suddenly they started giving to both parties. They started giving to Republicans, started giving to Democrats, and they started to drift further and further away from actual working regular people. And that is the big problem here. They took all this money, and suddenly corporations rule. We see the middle class income stagnate while the rich get progressively richer. And of course, over the last 30 years, the middle class has been squeezed. The working poor have gotten worse off. But again, incomes at the top have exploded. And people, look, they're not happy. And understandably so. I'm one of the people that are not happy. Okay? I'm not happy with the establishment. I despise the establishment because of what they've done. Thanks to these Supreme Court decisions. Thanks to Ronald Reagan. Thanks to the Bush era. Thanks to the Clinton era, which also pushed the Democratic Party further to the right. And then the Obama era, which continued that shift. Not happy. And again, I'm joining the millions and millions of people who are pissed off of the system. And here came Donald Trump. See, Donald Trump, he's good at what he does. He goes in and he's a salesman. He's a pitchman. And he sold people exactly what they wanted to hear. Don't worry, I can fix the system. I'm against this. I'm against this pay to play. Look at all these corrupt politicians. I'm an outsider. I can fix this. But he has no intent to do that. No intent. And he just exploited these people for their own gain. You can see it from the cabinet appointments. That he has no desire to help the American people, but to help his rich friends and his donors. It's the same old politicians. It's the same old politics, man. We've got to fix this system. We've got to end this system. And we have to rely not on the politicians to do it. We have to do it. We have to fight. We can't rely on any politician to do it. Because once you get in that system, you're corrupted, whether you want to be or not. Even senators, politicians that want to do something about it, they're stuck. They can't win seats. They can't get put on boards and committees unless they have that money. No, we've got to get the money out of politics so we can remove that corruption, so we can actually take our government back from the corporations and give it back to the people where it belongs. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.